The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, and welcome to today's presentation on how to deliver on key requirements from any visual analytics and BI solution. My name is Nikhil, and I will be walking you through on how to deliver these key requirements from both from a business and technical standpoint within Dundas BI. Dundas has been a leader in data visualization business for over 20 years. We started off with the visualization components, then moved on to a full dashboarding platform called Dundas Dashboard. And our current product is called Dundas BI, which is an end-to-end flexible business intelligence platform. Dundas is known for its flexibility, the ease of customization, extensibility, and integration, where you'll get everything from dashboarding to reporting and analytics all in one platform, known for innovation and enterprise readiness. And we are a trusted partner for all your data visualization and analytics needs. So what are these key requirements or key capabilities from a visual data analytics platform as defined by Gartner? The first one is the ability to explore your data. You have a spreadsheet, you want to explore the data connected with your database system, and on the go, turn it into an enterprise level dashboard. Interactivity. You're not just creating a static dashboard, you want to interact with it. You want to define drill downs. You want to drill down not within the same chart, but also to the details, to the raw data. You want to apply filters across the dashboard across the elements on the same dashboard, or across different dashboard when you're navigating from one to the other. Data preparation is another important thing, where you want to not just bring in data from a single source, but you want to blend it with other sources, as well as you want to clean and transform your data. We've seen that in most BI projects, this is a crucial step where your data is not well prepared, and you have to spend your time in making sure that the data is conducive for your analytics needs. Governance. Once you've created the dashboard, especially on an enterprise level, you need to make sure that the right data gets to the right people. And for that, you need to make sure that the right security setup is available to you, both from the dashboard's standpoint as well as from a data standpoint. And then finally, sharing. The ability for you to communicate and share your findings and dashboards with your colleagues across the organization. So all these capabilities are what are known as the key capabilities from a business intelligence and an analytics solution standpoint. And no matter what industry or department you're in, these are the key requirements that are always at the core for a solution like this. And these combine the capabilities of both the business as well as the technical users, and are critical if you want to create a solution which has a high adoption rate and actually have a big impact on your business. Within Dundas BI, these capabilities are offered within one platform with a data preparation layer, where you can bring in the data, blend it with other data sources, as well as clean and massage the data, and then present it to a data analytics layer where you can perform all sorts of analytics using formulas, hierarchies, period over period analysis, and then present it as a dashboard or a report or a scorecard, or allow your users to do their own self-serve data discovery. And once all this presentation has been created, the ability to collaborate using the sharing, exporting, scheduling, using annotations or data-driven alerts. And the administration capability allows you to do all your governance by defining your security at the user level as well as at the row level to filter the data accordingly. So let's take a look at how what these capabilities look like. I'm going to walk you through a sample which shows you some of these capabilities in action, and then we'll see how you can easily create that within Dundas BI. So here's an example of a dashboard which has some of the key metrics defined within two dashboards, which I will be navigating from one to the other. Here's a scorecard that shows you the split between regions, and here you can see the different metrics, for example, revenue, cost, expenses, EBITDA defined across these different regions, and the color codes indicate how well or how uh, not well these different metrics are doing. For example, you want to focus on cost, which is not doing well for Ontario. You can drill down into it and get the financial details below. See that uh, how it's compared to last year, or you can also further drill down into this and focus on one particular city, for example. And once you have this, you want to navigate into the app operations dashboard and see the breakdown of these different categories uh, by different metrics. So if you want to focus on any one particular city which has not done very well as compared to the median, you can drill down into it and get a breakdown of these different metrics for that particular city. And if you want to switch from one to the other, just simply switch from the parameter like this. And as I'm changing the parameter, you can see that multiple charts get updated accordingly. If you want to drill down into any particular chart, you can right click, drill down, go into the details and see how different categories are doing as compared to the average. And if you want to focus on any particular category, you can simply drill down into the raw details of this and see the row by row breakdown of this particular category. And if you want to switch to all of them, you can easily do that using a filter. So this was an example on how you can not just present the data, interact with it, but also you can share this information amongst different users. So as you're viewing this, if you see something that you feel is not right or you want more clarification, you can either add a note or you can also share it, send it off as either an image, PDF, Excel, or PowerPoint. If you want to schedule this to be delivered periodically, you can always schedule these dashboards to be delivered to a user or a group of users, either through an email or create a file on the server. You can also send a text message, for example, to different users with this dashboard. So those are some of the key ways in which you can actually communicate and share your findings and dashboards with other users. So let's take a look at how these capabilities can be achieved when you are building a dashboard. So I'm going to start off with how you can bring in your own data and do your own analysis, and then we'll move on to how you can use a data set that has been prepared for you and then create a dashboard based on that. So to start off with, if let's say you have a data set lying around, for example, in the form of an Excel spreadsheet, and if you want to analyze it and explore it, all you have to do is go to the dashboard in Canvas like this, bring in the spreadsheet that you want to explore, and in this case, you want to see how the online sales are doing as compared to the retail sales. So you want to slice and dice it. In this case, you want to know how the online sales are doing for different continents here. Get the right metric, get the right dimension. You want to see online sales by continent. Let's revisualize it. can see immediately North America is doing really well as compared to the online sales, whereas Europe and Asia Pacific are lagging behind. I want to get a breakdown of these details and see which of these areas are doing really well. And you also want to slice and dice it by the date or even the continent in this case. You can easily visualize this, get a better sense. You can see the United States and Canada are, the first and second. And just to get a better understanding of data, let's also sort this information. Now, if you want to compare this with, for example, the retail sales, all you have to do is take that and drop it on the canvas. Now you can see a different trend has emerged. You can see that for North America, retail sales have actually dropped and online sales have picked up, whereas other countries, it's the opposite. Now, if you want, you can also sort this to get a better understanding. Just sort it on the retail sales. And see how it's been performing. Now, you can also get a better understanding on the trend. Just drop the online sales. For example, in this case, you want to see it by month. And you also want to slice it by either country as well as the continent and see it from a different perspective. If you want, you can also compare this side by side with the retail sales. Just drag and drop that dimension like this. See the analysis, and you can see immediately that throughout the history, online has always done well as compared to retail, but suddenly, in July, something happened where it's been the opposite. So once you have this, if you'd like, you can also apply filters across the charts to filter the dimensions to focus on the particular area you're interested in. So for example, if you want to filter on any continent or the country, just simply apply the filter like this and place it. And let's call it country. And if you like, you can also filter by date, for example. So here what I'm doing is applying the filter across different sections of the same dashboard. So with one filter, I can filter all the charts. Once I've created this dashboard, if I want, I can also apply my own branding and my own theme. For example, if I want, I can create my own theme here and apply it across the charts, as well as bring in my own logo. So if you have any templates lying around, you can also brand it accordingly. And once you have this, and you know that what your findings are, you can easily share this information across the organization by just assigning a link to the different users like this. So as soon as I did that, now this dashboard has been shared amongst with that user or a group of users if you have if you want to share it, distribute it amongst a group. Now, if you want, you can also send this off as an email as soon as you create this dashboard. You can just schedule or click on notification, export this into a PDF document, set up the delivery option, add a recipient. So I'm going to send it to him. And what I'm going to do is, make it into a proper email text, add a subject. And you can also add a message body here. So here all I'm saying is, can you please check why the sales within North America are so low? So once I do that, I can immediately send off an email to the person, to this user here, and you'll receive an email with the attachment and then immediately see what's going on. So this way I have communicated my finding with my colleague. You can send this to individual users or even a group of users in this manner. So far what we've seen is how to bring in your data and how to explore it. I've just used my Excel spreadsheet and I've added filters. So if I want to, let's say, focus on these two countries, what I want to do is just switch the parameter like this and it will filter the details accordingly. So this was using the data exploration with an Excel spreadsheet and turning it into a dashboard. Now let's see a use case where you don't have the data lying with you, but you rely on someone else creating this data structure for you, and then you'd be able to use that data set and create an enterprise level dashboard. This was a self data discovery, no preparation required, but now is the use case where you actually need a data preparation to be done on top of your data. Here's one example where someone has actually created a data set for me where they've combined my Excel with my SQL, joined it into one platform, into one view like this. Now what I want to do here, I want to cleanse this data even further. Here, what I'll be doing is, I want to convert some of this data into the format that I want. So in this case, instead of cost being decimal, I want to make it into a currency. Same with the beta. And month should not be an integer. I want this to be converted into a string. Expenses, again, currency, and then revenue, obviously, again, currency. So I've just converted my data to the format that I need. And then just to make sure that everything is set properly, and I'm not getting any data that is duplicate, I can also, let's say, insert a node that removes duplicates, checks for it across the different data points and removes duplicates. Just it cleanses the data even further. Now, if I want, in the process result, I can also rename my column. Instead of COGS, I can just say cost of goods and services. And instead of this, I can just say number of transactions. So basically what I'm doing is making the data more business friendly. And this region ID is a number, but I want this to be a dimension. So what I can do is just switch it into a hierarchy, and it will come in as a hierarchy. So I can now do my analysis, have my x-axis as a region ID, or maybe I don't even want it, so just get rid of it. So what I've done is I've gotten rid of the redundant columns and expose only those columns that a business user is supposed to see. So once I have this data set, if someone wants to go ahead and use this, they can easily create a dashboard by themselves, expand the data structure that has been created for them, see a business friendly name. So here's cost of goods and services. I'm going to compare it with revenue. And I want to explore this by different months. Not just that, I also want to slice it by the different regions or stores. So once I have this, I can revisualize this into a different chart type. For example, line, in this case, place it at a location that I want. Let's say I want to see the revenue across different regions. Just drag and drop that, revisualize this. like this. And if you want to see revenue, not just by province, but in this case, different cities, just drag and drop that, and then even slice it by the date. And then revisualize this accordingly. So once I have this, to get a better understanding, I'm also once again going to sort it, descending order, like this. And I also want to get an average of how these cities are performing. So what I'm going to do is add a formula that says show me the average of all these cities and how they're performing in terms of the revenue. So now I have an average line, which I can always rename accordingly, make it more user-friendly in this case. Now let's also do one more analysis. In this case, I want to see EBITDA over different months. Again, slice and dice by the store, the region, and visualize this to get a better understanding of the trend. But I also want to see how it's been performing across different, as compared to the previous month or previous day or the previous year. So what I will be doing here is adding a periodic analysis that offsets the data by either 1 year, month, or a day. In this case, I'm going to select year because I want to compare this year's data as compared to last year, and add a trend line next to it, side by side. View it as an area, and maybe even rename it like this. So I've created my dashboard here, and what I'll be doing right now is I'll be creating filters that would filter across these different elements on the same dashboard. So in order to do that, all you do is apply a filter. So let's say I want to filter on the region. So I just apply a filter and select the region. And you can see that the region is common across all the different charts. I've got 4 charts. All of them have the region as the element, which is called store in this case. But I can actually rename this to make it more friendly. So just this way. Aside from region, I also want to filter all these charts according to the date that I want. So what I want to do is add a date filter. Like this. And let's also go ahead and make this into a full dashboard by adding more labels and more texts onto it. So I'm just going to create a label here. It's going to say this chart would be revenue, showing me revenue by region. Let's also add one more label. This time it would be revenue versus cost over time. This, I'll place it at a location, and this one would be EBITDA as compared to this year versus last year. Again, once again, add a label. This. Once I have this, the next thing to do is, apply a theme. Again, it takes you back to the branding concept. Once you want to share this across enterprise-wide, you want the proper branding to be reflected on the dashboard. So if you have any requirements where you want to let's say, have any specific design requirements, such as this one, certain font size or certain decorations on your components, you can easily do that by just going through the properties of these components. And then finally, we'll be adding our own logo and our own template. So all you have to do is create your own template and add it on the dashboard like this. And now we have an enterprise level dashboard that you can distribute to your users. Now, before doing that, let's also give the users the capability of not just filtering the dashboard using these parameters here. We'll also allow the users to filter on these charts by selecting the specific range of values that they want to see. The easy way to do that is to present them with the filter called slider. So in this case, if let's say I want to see the revenue for a particular range, I can just add the range here, and that's it. What this will do is allow the users to now filter and slice and dice on the data based on the range that they want to see. So once you have this dashboard, just view it, and here if you want to focus on any particular region, just focus on that and have the value effect across different charts. And within this, if let's say someone's viewing the dashboard and they want to see a different set of ranges, they can easily do that by switching the parameter like this. Right now it's not affecting because it's not bound to anything. So what you want to do is bind the filter to these different metrics, to these different charts. So you want to filter on the revenue. So basically you're filtering only 3 charts. So what this will do is, depending on the range that you've selected, it will show you the different values accordingly. So within this range, I can see only one city, whereas if I increase the range, I can see more data like this. So this way you can not just create a dashboard, but also give the users the ability to interact with it by defining filters within or across the elements on the same dashboard. Not only that, you can also allow them to get a better understanding of the data. For example, in this one, instead of just showing the provinces, I can actually show the cities within the province and split the chart accordingly, like this one. So you know immediately, which city within the province has the maximum distribution of the data. Now let's see a use case where you have this dashboard, you have these filters set up, and maybe you want to distribute this to another user. You can easily export this into either PDF, Excel, or even PowerPoint. Export this into a PowerPoint presentation and take it to a meeting, or just simply expose it as a link to a user or a group of users. Now it's distributed. Now that user would be able to see this dashboard at his end. Let's say there's a use case where you see these consolidated data points, and now you want to drill down into a more detailed dashboard. Here I have actually a dashboard that has a drill down. In this case, it's a regional level drill down, which is a raw data. What I'm going to do is set up a way in which a user clicks on a data point on the chart and it filters down onto this dashboard. How to do that is, let's go back to our dashboard here. And what I'm doing is setting up an interaction, in this case called navigation. So I'm just going to navigate into the regional level drill down, add a mapping. let's say, filter to the data point that I've selected. So in this one, let's say I want to select this city. I can click on it and it takes me to another dashboard with the raw data, which I can then drill down and see row by row items for that particular data point. So if I want to focus on, let's say, compare one city versus the other, I can easily do that using the parameter filter like this. Or get a breakdown of all the data points. And get a row by row item for the data that we saw on that particular dashboard. Now going back to this dashboard, if let's say you have a use case in this dashboard, now you can see all the points, all the data. But you want to also make sure that this dashboard gets to the right people, and not just from a dashboard perspective, but also from a data perspective. You want only the right people to see the right data. We saw how to share this dashboard across the users that you want uh, uh, to share this dashboard with using the link. Now let's also talk about how you can easily filter the dashboard based on who's logged in. Now each user account will have a specific attribute that would be associated with it. For example, let's say if I'm logged in, depending on my login, I want to see only data for 3 cities. You would create a my user account and associate these 3 cities for my user account. And while you're preparing your data, you would associate that attribute to the data set that you've prepared. So in this one, going back to the actual data set that we were working on, you can add a filter that says show me only the cities that I'm allowed to see. In this case, I'm only allowed to see these 3 cities. So once I apply this filter and I go back to my dashboard, you can see that the dashboard changes. Now I can only see 3 cities, which means that I've just filtered the dashboard based on who's logged in. So if you have a group of users that are only allowed to see a specific set of data points, just go to the data model, add a filter, and add the attribute and filter on only those particular values. So this way you have further ensured that the right data gets to the right people, and not just from a whole dashboard perspective, but also from a data perspective. Now, in terms of sharing, talked about how to communicate and share your findings using these different export capabilities, or you can also set up notification, like you can send off an email using the scheduling capability. But there's also another way in which you can communicate and share your findings with the different users, and that is known as uh, storyboarding, or uh, telling a story when you're looking at a dashboard. So for example, I can create a dashboard, and let's say I can bring in my own data sets that I want to see. So in this case, I want to see how the product sales are doing, and I also want to see the details for these product sales. I want to see the beta by department, and I want to see the monthly traffic. So I quickly created my dashboard. And here I can see that two of these categories are not doing that well, as indicated by the red indicator. Now I can also trigger an alert based on what the values are. In this case, the EBITDA has fallen below the threshold that's been defined, which means that I can set up a data-driven alert that tracks this data point, and depending on the value, whether or not it's crossed the threshold or not, it will trigger an alert and automatically alert whoever is managing, in this case, this particular department. Not only that, I can also bring in my own analysis. Here in this case, I see that two of these departments need attention. So what I can do is add my own thoughts on the dashboard like this. And say that, looks like there is less volume of sales in the style and kids departments in this case. And we need to review the merchandise offered in them and check if that is ideal for the customer. So these are my observations that I made. What I'm going to do is expose this. And instead of now sharing it or sending this off as an email, I'm going to create a storyboard that takes into account the region analysis that we've done, as well as this store level analysis that we're doing. So how that is done is using what we call a slideshow. I'm going to create a slideshow like this and add those different dashboards that we have created. For this purpose, I'm going to use 3 different dashboards that I've created. So dashboard 1, I'm also going to include the regional drill down, and then I'm going to include the actual store analysis that I've done. Now, once I have these 3 dashboards and I view this, I can view them as a slideshow. So let's say I'm in a meeting and I'm presenting this to a group of people. What I can do is, okay, we're seeing that the revenue for Ontario has fallen down. It has not done as well as expected. Why? Because the costs have increased for this province. And if you take a look at the store level analysis, you can see that 2 of these departments have not done really well, and looks like there is less volume of sales in these 2 departments, and we need to review the merchandise that are offered in them. So you have actually created a storyboard while you're doing your analysis, and you can actually take this storyboard and take it to a presentation and to a meeting. So this way you not only analyze the data, but you've also communicated your findings to the different users. So this is another way on how you can communicate and share your findings on while you're viewing and analyzing the data on the dashboard. So let's review what we discussed during this presentation. We saw how to perform data exploration on top of your data. You used Excel spreadsheet where someone can just drop in the data that is lying on their desktop and explore it on the fly and turn it into an enterprise level dashboard. We also saw how to explore a data that has been pre-prepared for them using the inbuilt data cube or the data model that's been prepared and cleansed for them. Interaction, we saw how to define the drill downs into details, apply filters across the elements of the dashboard on the same page, as well as drill down to details from one dashboard to the other. We saw how to prepare the data, how to bring in the data. We saw a data model in which data from different sources, Excel and SQL, have been merged together, and we cleanse the data by doing data conversion, filtering it, um, removing duplicates and filtering it by the user who's logged in. Governance, so how to set up security, not just at the dashboard level by sharing it with only the users that are allowed to see the dashboard, but also setting up security in a way that at the data level, only those users who are allowed to see that particular data point are allowed to see. And sharing, communication, sharing your findings across different users on the dashboard. We saw how to export it into different formats, how to schedule and send off an email to a user or a group of users. Not only that, we also saw how to communicate using annotations as well as storyboarding, telling a story while you're looking at the dashboard. Saw that using the slideshow that you can communicate as a presentation tool. So at this point, let's pause and take some of your questions. We have a lot of questions that have come in. The first question is, it's a good one. Which is the most important capability out of these? I would say there's no direct answer for that. If you're asking which is the capability you'll be spending most time on, from our experience, we've seen that data preparation is the stage which requires maximum time to be spent because data is, let's face it, is not in the right format that you want it to be in. So you will be spending time in preparing the data, bringing it in, cleansing it further, and then allowing the users to do the exploration. Now, in terms of the importance, depending on the user type, maybe some of you would like to explore your own spreadsheets. Maybe exploration is more important. For some of you, this is not an important capability, but the ability to interact with the data is important. So the ease of doing this is something that you need to look at. And if you're looking at enterprise level dashboard, distributing it enterprise-wide within the company, governance would be extremely important to make sure that only the right data gets to the right people, as well as the ease of communicating and sharing. So in terms of importance, I would say all of these are important in their own aspect, but the ease of doing these things is something that is of key importance because that will define on how easily or how faster you can get your data to the right people at the right time. Do you have any means to establish dependent filters? Where members in one filter dependent on who or what is chosen. Yes, there is a capability. You can use what we call cascading filters. For that, you need to define a hierarchy within the system and then apply the filter on that. Or if you want to customize it, there is also a way in which you can customize the filters. We can actually, I think we have a documentation on our support site that explains this. What is an effective way to store the various storyboards? The storyboard is basically a slideshow, so it is stored as a slideshow. So if that's your question, then that I would say that would be an effective way to store it. But you can also create a storyboard where you create different button controls and just navigate from one dashboard to the other. That's another way in which you can create a storyboard out of your dashboard. In that, if you're going that way, essentially you're creating different dashboards and you're just navigating between them. Design and the look. What about the design and the look? The design and the look can be taken into account by creating your own themes, applying your own themes. There are numerous set of properties that you can use, which which you can create your own colors, your own styles, your own design, your own fonts and all, and then apply it across the dashboard. We saw that from a blue theme, I just switched the theme into a bright orange theme. So you, depending on what your requirements are, you can create your own theme and apply it across the dashboard. Drilling down into a graph, can I drill down into a graph? Yes, you can. You just, if you have the right hierarchy set up, you just right click on it and select the drill down on the graph. So here's another question. If you have an internal portal and you have want the dashboard to be posted on the internal site, is it possible to host it there and all the users can access it? Yes, all you have to do is just embed it on the portal within an iframe and have the users navigate to that URL. And in that way, you can actually allow the users to view the dashboard while they're navigating your internal portal. Once the dashboard is developed, can this be scheduled on a frequency and distributed automatically? Yes, that is done using the notifications button and selecting the scheduled notification feature. And what options are available when creating dashboards for responsiveness for different device or screen size? There is an option, and if you go into the layout property of the dashboard to select the kind of resize mode that you want this to be in. So if you want to scale according to the different screen sizes, just switch the responsive mode from uh, just change the resize mode into a scale mode. Are the storyboards interactive? When you're looking at the storyboard, you cannot interact. For that, you have to actually right click on that particular particular dashboard and go into the interactive dashboard. Yes, it can be done. It's just um, you have to go into an interactive dashboard. For the notifications, can we say for any thresholds violation in the system, will we send a notification for it? Yes, that is done using the data-driven notification where you define a threshold, and depending on what your threshold is, it will trigger an alert depending on whether the metric has gone above or below a particular threshold. Right. There is Active Directory supported when you're defining those user accounts within the system? Yes, it is supported. I was actually logged in as an Active Directory user. It is in. You can integrate it with Active Directory, either individual users or groups of users. Uh, Also, if you have any local user database that you want to bring in the users from, you can also integrate with it. For example, LDAP is a good example, which you can integrate the user accounting system with Dundas BI. In terms of sharing, is it only through email or can we also send text messages? Text messages are possible. There are different ways of doing it. One of the ways is just some of the providers have you just type in the phone number at the provider.com and it will trigger a text message. If you want, you can also create your own capability using the APIs that we offer. But if you don't want, you can avoid that by going using the first option. Can we perform analytical operation like linear regression or transformation? Yes, you just go into the data tools. There is a formula option that you can utilize to perform that kind of regression. For linear regression, there's a trend and forecasting formula which you can apply, and you actually choose the degree of regression that uh, you want to apply on the chart or on the dashboard. All right, keep your questions coming. So some really good questions, and uh, we will get back to you um, as soon as possible. But from a Dundas perspective, Dundas BI, as you saw, provides an enterprise-ready business intelligence solution with a focus on data visualization and dashboarding and reporting. And you saw how easily you can deliver both key business and technical capabilities within Dundas BI. No matter if you're a business user or a technical user, you will be able to deliver those capabilities um, using Dundas BI. So what's next? You can contact one of our consultants and try Dundas BI today. You can download it from our website. It's available for 45 days. And you can also request a demo or talk to your account executive or solution architect like myself to give you more details on how to use the product and what you can do with it. All right, let's take some more questions. How is the transfer to a production environment achieved? There is an importing and exporting tool that you can utilize to migrate from one environment to the other. And typically, if you create something in a development environment and you just migrate it to a production environment. Can you monitor the usage of the users who's using the dashboard? This is another good question. We have the capability of tracking the usage of individual users. Actually, when you install the dashboarding or Dundas BI, you will get a sample that allows you to track usage, right? From what project they've viewed, what dashboards they've viewed, for how long they've viewed that particular dashboard. So there are different details. And if you want, you can also create your own analysis and your own little on your own KPIs on, and do your own analysis on the usage of the application. All right, so I guess that's it for today. If you have any additional questions or comments, feel free to reach us at info@dundas.com and we will get back to you with your answers. Thank you everyone for joining us today and attending this session. And again, if you need any other information, just feel free to reach out to us. So thank you again and have a nice day. Take care.